way too special to dim your light. Let your glitter and your light shine so the world can see it. So, do you ever feel like you're not living up to your full potential? Do you ever get this nagging feeling like you could be doing more, your life is more? Congrats. That means that there's an itching desire for you to discover your purpose. And when it comes to purpose minded individuals, that's usually how it starts. It starts with a desire, it starts with a frustration. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through some steps that you can take to help you unlock your potential and your purpose. First step is starting with self reflection. Like, what are you passionate about? Like, what sets your soul on fire? What excites you the most? Usually, self reflection is an introspective look at yourself and figuring out what are things that frustrate you. What are things that you could do all day, every day, if you never had to work another day in your life and had to worry about money? It usually starts with self reflection. Tupac Shakur is one of the most brilliant poets, activists, and artists that has ever walked the face of this earth. And I want to use him as an example as to what started him on his journey of becoming a great artist and rapper. And what happened was his friend was playing with a gun at school and was shot and killed in that incident. And that is what drove Tupac to actually write and perform his first rap, which was about gun control. And then further down the road, when he left that art school to go into music full time, he took inspiration from artists like Ice Cube and other rap artists and icons to write about the political and policing and injustices that were happening in the Black community. And I wanted to use him as an example because so what, he's not a pastor, so what, he's not. Purpose does not have to be a pulpit or within a religious institution. Purpose takes many forms. And Tupac, even though God bless his soul, he died at such a young age, and there were some things he didn't get to finish or complete on this earth. But while he spent his time here, he did indeed create purposeful music. He shed a lot of light, and he is an amazing poet. And so I wanted to use him as an example of somebody that is really discovered their purpose. I'll hold you. There are some songs that Tupac did
that made you raise some eyebrows that was like, okay, wait a minute. But
some of his songs, he wrote a lot of great songs that had nothing to do with women and liquor and those other things that really were impactful and really spoke to struggles in the Black community. So I just wanted to insert that, you know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna put some respect on his name. Cover your strengths and talents. Like, what are you naturally good at? Like, are you a great speaker? Are you a great writer? And don't mind me, y'all. I'm looking down at my iPad. This is where I have my notes. I just want to make sure that I cover all of my points. But what comes natural to you? You know what I'm saying? What do people come to you for the most? Because that could also be some cookie crumbs as to unlocking your potential and your purpose. So I'm going to use an example, another icon. Again, I am a person that does not fit the mold, and I love to use people that don't either. I want to use RuPaul as an example. And RuPaul, hear me out, is an icon, and he is living his purpose. His purpose behind creating the drag race show was to give more light to the LGBTQ plus. I like to say letters community because I feel like I'm, to be politically correct, I like to say letters community because I'm afraid that I'm going to mess up a letter or they might have added something that I missed out on. But I'm going to share a quote that he had in Vulture magazine back in 2017. I knew that drag has more significant meaning and power than just what it seems like on the surface. It speaks to the duality of our lives as humans on this planet. So RuPaul has made drag more mainstream, more commercial. There was a time that people in the letters community could not express themselves in public, which is why they had voguing and this underground culture um in their community to express themselves through dance, through makeup, through clothes and all of that stuff. And RuPaul has created a lane and a space and has earned 14 Primetime Emmys and 22 nominations. Let me read his mission statement on why he started the drag race. It says here that I knew the show's mission statement was to celebrate the art of drag, explaining his early optimism about the show's appeal. And I knew that drag has more significant meaning and more power than just what it seems like on the surface. I shared that quote earlier, but I kind of wanted to put it all together. What I'm saying is, RuPaul knew his strength. He didn't know that he was going to be an Emmy winner. He didn't know that he was going to create something that has never been done before. He knew what his strengths were, which is creating art and creating a platform and sharing that platform with other men and women in the LGBTQT plus community to express themselves through the art of voguing and drag. So I hear me out. I know this is controversial, but RuPaul found his purpose and he's killing it. So I wanted to use him as an example as what are your strengths? What is your mission that or the people that you want to speak to that you want to help? Identify your core values and your beliefs. Figure out how to align your life with what you believe in and those values because purpose is not just about what you do, it's how you do it. Again, kind of going back to the first tip is figuring out your beliefs and your values is having an introspective mindset to figure out what is most important to you and who is behind that and the why. So let me summarize this to make it easier. Identifying your core beliefs and values is really like a fancy way of saying what is your why and how would you execute your why. So I'll give you an example. Say for I want to make healthier meals and more accessible to low income families. That's my why. My how, I want to become a licensed nutritionist and a chef so that I can create these healthy, more accessible meals to lower income families. So you see how the why and the how kind of connect. So again, I'm going to use another example. And again, I'm looking down at my iPad because I want to make sure I get all of these examples and notes. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is the one of the biggest icons, okay? You know what I'm saying? To have walked this earth. And he created the iPhone, which completely revolutionized the mobile phone technology. I want to read here on why he created the mobile or the iPhone. He created the iPhone because he recognized the convergence of mobile phone technology and music players, realizing that consumers would eventually prefer a single device that could handle both functions, essentially protecting the dominance of Apple's iPod by integrating a phone into a sleek, user friendly design that combined features like touchscreen interface, internet access, all while aiming to simplify the complexity of existing mobile phones. He saw an opportunity to revolutionize the mobile phone industry with a new intuitive product that aligned with Apple's design principles. So, do you get what I'm saying, friend? You see how that lines up with what I said? Identify your values, your beliefs. Beliefs is just another word for principles. But Steve Jobs, I don't care what anybody says about that man. He lived his purpose. I'm not going to get into his origin story. There's a few movies that talk about that, but he completely changed the mobile phone technology forever. Ever since the iPhone, I remember when the first generation of iPhone came out, I was in college and that completely changed the game. Every person that made a phone other than Apple had to go back and revisit their designs. Like purpose. He was born to create the iPhone. I hate to limit down his legacy into that. It's more complex than that. But he was created for a special purpose to revolutionize something. And now that he has passed, his legacy lives on. Every time you go by an iPhone, I'm filming on an iPhone. You know what I'm saying? No shade to Android, but he fulfilled his purpose. He understood his core values and he aligned his life with creating a product that changed the world forever. So I just wanted to use him as another iconic example when it comes to figuring out your purpose. Act out what you truly believe is leading you to your purpose. So if you're a good writer, start writing. If you want to start the nonprofit, start the nonprofit. If you want to produce and write music, produce and write music. Purpose will not be discovered until you start doing things. Because when you start moving and acting in faith, and moving like you know or you think that's it, that's when it'll start to take form. That's when you'll find out where your strengths are. That's what you'll find out what you need to cut out and you need to pivot. So act out what you already think is leading you to your purpose and just go from there. So seek guidance. Sometimes unlocking your purpose requires external insight from people that are not within your sphere of influence. So that could be a coach, that could be a therapist, that could be a spiritual leader or mentor, that could be finding community of like-minded individuals. We are social creatures by nature, and sometimes you need community and people to surround yourself with on your journey of self-discovery and finding your purpose. One of the things that has really helped me in therapy this past year, or excuse me, this year, was my therapist told me, like, write down what excites you, what fulfills you. And I realized in my social media hiatus that I took last year is I love talking about really deep, spiritual, insightful things other than tech. It absolutely lights my soul on fire. It really does. So, really look and seek mentorship or community to help you discover your purpose, because we all need people. Embrace your journey and be open to change. And again, I'm looking at my notes. Purpose isn't a destination, it is a lifetime journey. You have to be open to evolving and growing. Don't be afraid to try new things. If you tried something and it doesn't work, it's okay to pivot and to change. That's what life is about. Life is about evolving and growing. And I'll give you an example. For me is I wanted to go into the fashion industry. I wanted to be a buyer. And the pivot for me was going into engineering instead. And engineering was hard. It was a struggle bus, especially me as an ADHDer and a neurodivergent. But that was the path that God led me to. And in that, He led me to create a business to help other people. And then 2 years ago, or excuse me, 3 years ago, I wanted to go back into the arts and I was looking at leaving engineering for good, and I wanted to go into interior design school because I'm a creative soul at heart. I really am. And that didn't work out. I dropped out of design school and I absolutely hated it. And I went right back to engineering. So what I'm saying is you might be good at multiple things. I'm really great at designing. I'm really good at writing and other things, but they may not necessarily be a part of your purpose. They could just be supplemental gifts, supplemental skills that support your overall purpose and your journey to find that. So you may be a good writer, and writing could be the path to lead you to public speaking or motivational things. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to confuse like things that you are good with that may not be your purpose, but they could lead you to your purpose, if that makes sense. Service others and make an impact. So what are your gifts? What are your gifts and how can you use those to help others? How can you use those to aid the community and make a difference in the world? You know what I'm saying? So when I think about purpose, a lot of people associate the word purpose with churches and a religious institution. And that might be 10% true, but it's really not. 98% of purpose is in the world. We were all created to fulfill a specific purpose on the earth, but there's different lanes that everybody is divinely designed to go into. For some people, their purpose is to go into the music industry. For some people, it's in the line of education, schools, and nonprofits. Some people, it's the lane of the food industry where there's supposed to be somebody that creates products and food that's going to change the game of how people eat and diet and stuff like that. I think of the beauty industry, people that are there to change the standards of the beauty industry. There's different lanes of purpose that we're all divinely designed to go into. So, really, I hope that all of these steps that I share make you really reflect and think about what lane am I called to, or what do I feel that I'm leaning towards. An example that I like to use when it comes to service others and make an impact is none other than Miss Stephanie Giamatti. I hope I said her name right, aka Lady Gaga. So I wanted to read a quote. So Lady Gaga is an icon and she is fulfilling her purpose, and she's actually somebody that I look up to when it comes to reaching after people that don't fit the mold. That is my business. That is my mission statement for my business, is for people that don't fit the mold, for the weirdos, for the people that are black sheep, for people that don't feel like they fit in and that their life has meaning. I created a video about this. You can watch it here. It's going to be in the same playlist that this video will be in. But I think about Lady Gaga when it comes to impact, and she is a global superstar. So let me share some quotes that she said. Um, she said that she loves her fans because they make her feel like she's not weird and that they know who she is. She advocates for anti bullying and self acceptance, which is so beautiful. Gaga's fans see her more than a performer, they see her as a source of hope, love, inspiration, and empowerment. Y'all, when I watched her Chromatica special, I was on the plane this summer and I was almost in tears. Like I felt such a strong energy, almost like an anointing on her. There was a part in the show where she got on the piano and she just started talking to people about self acceptance and loving yourself and not being ashamed to love who you are. And I was almost in tears. And I wanted to cry so bad, but I was worried about the people that I was sitting next to, and I think Lady Gaga is a phenomenal example when it comes to purpose. She wanted to be an actress and then she leaned into music. She was bullied for a really long time when she was in school. She never fit in, but now she's one of the most biggest global superstars, and she has become an advocate for the letters community, but she's been a huge advocate for self acceptance and love and inspiration and empowerment. And that is why I will forever be a monster. Even though I have this Beyonce Renaissance t shirt, I will forever be a monster. I've been rocking with Lady Gaga since 2000. We're not going to age myself. If you're struggling to find your purpose, and I hope that this video gave you, looking at purpose from a different lens to give you some perspective and some tips on how to approach discovering and unlocking your truest potential. And I hope this video was inspiring and I'm super excited. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are and how you plan to unlock your potential and your purpose.